something maddening about these spaces is just the fact that like the indie comic space is really just about tearing folk down. And some people do it very directly, like your boy Zach, as we've seen, has gone super off the rails and is just like Nerdrotic and Eric July and you see Ethan Van Sciver being about the nastiest out of them in the whole deal. But some of them do it kind of passive aggressively, and that's Comics by Perch right here. Now, for whatever reason, this guy decided to hate me a couple of years ago. I don't know why. He never talked to me. I've only had cordial DMs with him back when I was coming out with my Deus Volt book. We talked about maybe streaming together or whatever, and he seemed nice. He's one of these people again that just like I think the disconnect that a lot of these influencers have is they're pining for the industry to get back on track and have a robust Marvel and DC that's going to make comic shops great again. And that's what they want, right? Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I don't like Marvel and DC. They're evil corporations run by evil leftists. I want them to burn down, and then we can build another independent thing with actual creativity in comics like the European industry has or something like that. And, I'm a big fan of Valerian. I'm a big fan of the Jeremiah books from the European stuff. I'm a big fan of all those bands dessinées. They're just excellent. And it's just about creativity over there, right? And that's what I envision comics to be, right? And I guess that just bothers people who are just into corporate brand simping, right? Your boy Zach has, of course, hated me this entire time. Why? Don't know. But again, it comes back to, I think he just wants to get in. His dream was to get in with Marvel and DC. Perch, is buddy-buddy with a lot of people behind the scenes in the industry. And so as much as he gives some of his criticisms, which have been way softer in recent years, he seems to like just want to prefer that. So I noticed the problem with Perch and just his like kind of passive aggressively going at me a couple of years back, and I'll get into what's happened because he made a video lambasting me, just being very nasty, swearing, calling me a fake Christian. I mean, it's just like I was like, what is going on here? Why is this guy doing this? And I don't know what it comes down to. You'll have to ask him. He won't talk to me like usual, and it's just sad that people act like this in these spaces, in my opinion. And I try to be measured. If you notice, like when I do these, like I want the left to fail, right? And I definitely want the Heather Antoses of the world to fail, and I want them, destroyed because they're evil. But on this side, like when there's somebody like Perch, it's like, okay, this guy has some good talking points on things. I try to be measured about it because, like, I don't want Perch to fail. I don't want your boy Zach to fail. I don't want Ethan Van Sciver to fail or Graham Nolan or any of these people who have just been bad and hurt indie comics like they have. But I do want them to build something better, and that's exactly what we've been trying to do. So please hit the like and subscribe button. This is an independent comic movement here that we're building because a lot of these guys promise so much, like early on. They got really big really fast. If you don't know, Perch was one of those ones early on that was, calling out the woke comic books and, built his channel pretty big as he did so, just like your boy Zach, just like, Thinking Critical did, and a few others built their channels on that because back in the day, YouTube would go and give you, let's go to his top videos, and I'll just show you how many views this would get back in 2018 or whatever, 4 years ago. Look at that, 84,000 views, 70,000 views. They'd give it to you on those topics. At some point, I mean, YouTube actually turned off the algorithm to make it so that, sort of anti-establishment channels didn't go anywhere. As you can see, it's like, his videos capture 1,000 views now. And I watch them from time to time. Like I said, I mostly enjoy Perch's takes. Some of them are kind of boomery and dumb. But I don't harbor any ill will against the guy, which is what makes it weird that like he's got this like just derangement about me, which I'll get into. But yes, we're building a different movement, and our movement here, because all these guys failed to define what they wanted. They're just like, I just want comics good again. I want Marvel and DC good again, right? And I'm like, that's not a value. A value is, yes, good comics, and I want independent, strong, good comics out there. And I want a movement around reading because, of course, a lot of what's built up in these movements is just people tuning in for drama, and they do for Perch. Even though Perch does this, like, I don't do drama, blah, blah, blah. I mean, again, he just did a video just swearing about me, so you do, and then you act like you're above it at the same time. It's kind of obnoxious to have that kind of attitude. I cover the drama just to get people in reading, and that's all I care about. And so I'm here with one purpose, to get you reading. And I've decided to go a step further than what normal people have in this group. And, there's crowd funds and, there's all that going on, which we do have. But I've found that the webcomics community is a lot healthier, and it's about reading comics, and then you support somebody after you started reading and the like. So I started this Substack. I'm posting up Flying Sparks one page at a time right now, and I'll do more as it goes on. We're building. It's growing very fast, and I'm just getting people reading and reading and reading every single day. On top of this, I have exclusives, and the exclusives I do have for paid subscribers, and that's exactly what the webcomic model does, is they either give things early to paid subscribers or exclusives to paid subscribers, and we do more than actually, I give more as content here than most webcomics actually do all the way around. And so I want you to sign up for this Substack in the description below. Start reading, guys. Start getting in on Flying Sparks. Start getting in on this world, because I'm building stories with real heroic values that they used to have back in the day before everything went off the rails, and I think you're going to really enjoy them. Get in on here, guys. So important. Thanks for being here. If you do want to support and actually, just read some physical books, I have everything for everybody. This is my web store, and all of my books are available here, and I try to make them evergreen so that you can just read. I'm not trying for some FOMO thing. I think that whole FOMO, better get this variant cover right away, like sort of thing, is just, it's a misnomer. And a lot of these guys didn't bother doing digital. We have digital comics of everything too, just to make sure that, people overseas can read cheaply. We're doing it right over here, and I'm working my tail off, and I'm really building while a lot of these guys are just, circle jerking with their live streams and stuff. So thank you for being here. This is the spot to be. Get these 2 links in the description below, and we'll talk about what's going on. So I can't even remember what video it was. It was this. I think it was this crowdfunded comic books one, as I recall. One of my fans sent this to me because they were like, "Hey, Perch is going off the rails on you," and I'm like, "What the heck?" What's interesting is, just as this was going on, I was thinking about Perch, and I was thinking about just like, views are down on comics. Nobody cares about comics anymore, right? And this is part of the problem. Like, not only is the YouTube algorithm, stacked against comic channels that are anti-establishment, because what YouTube's trying to do is remove the anti-woke content. And the reason they're doing that is because they want to try to control the culture and just make everything about what they want discussed. This change in the algorithm happened right after the election, around February. Once Donald Trump got into office, they just kind of quietly did this, and everybody's channels got nuked on that level. So you see, like, there's been a lot of lashing out because, people are not getting the views anymore. Even Perch's stuff is down from what it was at that point. People don't just tune in every single day. You don't see if you subscribe to this channel, for example, you won't necessarily see this video. Or the next video or the next video. Like, they'll show you just like their curated feed of what they want on your end, and that's what YouTube's been doing. So we have that on one end of things, and I'm always like, okay, so let's build, because we're all kind of simpatico and on the same side here. We're kind of, about things. The thing is, like, I guess Perch is really, and I've noticed it again with Zach and Perch, like, these guys aren't really about independent comics. They never talk about independent comics or anything like that. I clickbaited all of you the other day with my topic about Xenozoic. Like, I actually read independent comics, and I like them, and I try to find the best ones out there. I mentioned Jeremiah at the beginning of this video, and Valerian, of course. There's the Trigon Empire is a great sci-fi one. These are all ones that, like, you should be writing down and checking out, and that's what I try to stealthily do in these videos, of course. But these guys just care about the corporate brands, and they always have. So I noticed a couple years ago that Perch started doing videos, and he would just talk about me periodically. And he'd go, JDA doesn't like me, I hear, for some reason. And I'd leave a comment on his channel. I'd be like, what are you talking about? I've never said anything bad about you. I've never interacted poorly with you. Where's this coming from? And so what this tells me, and the reason these guys get in these tissy fits, is they're in DM groups or little whisper networky type things with a couple different people, and they all just talk smack about, me and other creators in those groups, and they just kind of vent their frustrations But who knows? I don't know what the guy's problem was with me. He just started saying this in his videos. And he never replied. And that's what I noticed. He'd do this in his videos and never reply. And it's like, well, if you're gonna say I don't like you, like, or there's a problem, like, we're adults. Let's talk about this, Perch. And I attempted to talk to him a couple times. I've emailed him, no reply. And I try to do this with everybody. Like, so Zach, I've been like, hey man, I want to help, etc. Ethan Van Sciver, I've tried to dial down with, and of course, people who are in the tribal camps get pissed at me whenever I do this because as a Christian, like, I don't want to fight forever, especially with people, again, nominally on the conservative side that I think we should be building together. So I just don't want that. And I've never wanted any sort of like argument with any of these people. But they view it as weakness because the problem is like everything's just performative online. And even Perch is performative online, and the reason he was like going off on me on this video right here is performative, and it was very interesting. He was talking about crowdfunding, and he's clearly it's interesting. He's going off on Ethan Van Sciver for a bit about people not finishing their books or getting them in. Very clear what he was talking about, and they do these things. They go, I don't name names, ha 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 ha, and that makes me better about it. It's not. Because it's like, anybody who's in the know knows, right? So then he starts like ranting about me and going, there's a person in these spaces who claims he's a Christian. He's a fake Christian. He's an asshole. He's a terrible person. He should burn in hell. I'm like, what the heck? And that's clearly talking about me. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why did this guy go from random comments about like that I don't like him, which I'd never said before, to this? Now, a couple years back, I noticed Perch was standing for a Disney LGBTQ themed kids movie, and I'm like, why are you standing for this, dude? And he blocked me immediately. And so again, these people don't talk. It's like you better have the same opinion as them on any movie or any comic book, or they throw a fit. They cannot even function with you. And so maybe it's just like an autism thing. But I think there's more behind the scenes. I think this guy's tied in because, he's interviewed with Sean Gordon Murphy. And when he did that, I called that out after he blocked me because Sean Gordon Murphy was taking a Zorro book and selling it on Kickstarter as like a normal Zorro book when it was actually a future character replacing Zorro with a strong female lead lesbian and then turning Zorro into a crazy person. And so it was very much a subversion of things. In that same interview with Perch, he also said he was friends with Heather Rantos, and Perch was minimizing, going, "Oh yeah, these guys just call everything woke, and you're the good one doing the real good things, and you don't do this woke stuff." And I'm like, this is woke. So I called that interview out. I think Perch got really mad about that because I just kind of noticed that Sean Gordon Murphy's just the same thing as everybody else in the industry. And if you're in the industry, you are a leftist. There's no conservatives in the industry. There's no Christians in the industry. You're not allowed. They get blacklisted at this point. It is a small whisper network of a Marvel and DC, 100%. And so when I see this on his interview with the guy, I'm like, okay, this is a problem. And this must be, again, Perch must be talking behind the scenes with his industry contacts, and they seethe about me. Those guys want to make sure I don't sell my comics, that my comics are not available. They would love to get me banned from YouTube, everything, because they know that I'm making better comics than everybody else out there, and that I am effective in what I'm talking about and just how bad this behavior is in the mainstream industry. And so that's what they want to do. They do want me torn down, and it's clear that Perch did also in this stuff. So very sad that he acted like this. But what's interesting is at the same time, I was thinking about him, and I reached out because I'm like, you know what, this type of stuff does not help anybody's channels. It's not helping anybody out there. We should just talk and come together, collaborate maybe, and just build our audiences, because there's people who watch him and don't watch me, and there's people that watch me that don't watch him. That's how you build. And unfortunately, none of these people have any sort of vision for the future. They just have whatever they're outraged about right now is what they're just going to go off on right now. And there's no strategy to it. There's no thought about how to build an independent comics culture. And there's just, spinning your wheels over Marvel and DC forever. And that's what Marvel and DC wants, is they want control of the culture. And they want all the influencers to be controlled via access as well. And so that's what they've set up in this entire system. And, it's just sad that Perch acts like this. So, I'm just like, whatever. I mean, this guy, like, he's a fake Christian and should be going to hell. It's like, what? Okay, bro. I'm just like here raising my family. I've got 3 kids. I'm writing comic books every single day. I'm working very hard, much harder than other people. Talk to me if you have a problem with me. This is what I got to say. But he won't because this is just what they do. Sad. All right. Weird going off the rails. Didn't expect this on a Sunday. So God bless all of you. And I'm sorry, Perch. Whatever's going on with your life, don't take it out on me. Thanks.